Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost. SilverDaddy.com. I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2018. The album, Dad AF. That's great, it starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes and airplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I used to have such a crush on Michael Stipe back in the day. Oh my God, did you ever see REM on Unplugged, MTV Unplugged? He did that exact version of it. Nada. He did it. I'm basically Michael Stipe. So anyway, this video is not about that. But let's get right into what this video is about. And I think before we start this, it's important for me to explain to you guys a little bit about my process of how I pick like what video I'm doing for the day. I actually was gonna make this video yesterday, but I was like, oh no. I gotta talk about Tana Mojo today. So, I was gonna make a video yesterday and I was gonna call it, it's such an artistic title. It's called Bobby Burns Confronts Criticism. That's what it was gonna be. Wouldn't that have been such a great title? No, but that's not what you're watching. And the reason that you're not watching that video is because my opinion has changed, see? Now, let me explain to you what happens is, I usually pick like 2 to 3 topics of things I wanna talk about. Things I've seen on Twitter the night before, or the day of, or videos that have come out, things I wanna respond to. And then I sit down and I do a very deep investigative journalism, I'm a commentary channel, I'm a drama channel. Okay, we need to know our place. I'm so tired. It doesn't matter how many receipts and all this kind of stuff people throw up into it. The drama channels are basically the low-rent ETV. It's the truth of the nature all day long. So anyway, and I don't care. I'm fine sitting right there, okay? But anyway, so that means I'm a commentary channel. So I sit down, but to have your opinion and to have commentary, you kind of have to know some facts, right? Sometimes I get my facts wrong. I'm going to admit it all day long. But sometimes I get my facts right. I have 6 pages of facts right here. So, I was sitting there and I was watching these videos, and I've now watched this video of his like 3 times. I've watched like all of them because there's like 3 or 4 in a row with this music video that are kind of like the same intellectual, bohemian, artsy-fartsy. Listen, okay, it reminds me of like friends in high school that want to do a movie. That's what it's like, okay? It's bad. It's just real bad. It's just, to me, no offense, Bobby, and I hope you listen to this video because I think maybe you'll see a different side of things. There's no creativity or artistic, I don't know, there's just nothing. To me, it's just phony. It's just real phony. And it seems like he's trying to be like something that he's not. And, you know, he addresses kind of the whole artistic thing in there, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But, you know, that if you don't try new things, you can't grow, which I agree with. But I was sitting there watching it and I thought, you know, I learned of Bobby Burns because Shane Dawson shouted him out in a video. When he shouted him out, I went back and I watched, I would say, 3 or 4 of Bobby's videos from 2 to 3 weeks before that, or 2 to 3 months before that. But other than that, I didn't really know a whole lot about who Bobby Burns was. And so I started seeing, you know, all these videos come up in the last 6 months, let's say. I think that it was like 7 months ago that Shane shouted him out or put him in they did the videos together, and then since then he's changed. He's a different YouTuber. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I was kind of like, well, what happened? Like, what is the evolution of Bobby Burns? Because I've seen all of these people come out that have watched Bobby Burns for a long time say, he's changed. His numbers are just tanking. I mean, like, his channel is just like losing subs left and right. This isn't the first time. I think he seems very, very lost, and this is his attempt at saying, I got it all figured out, you people are wrong, I know exactly what I'm doing. So, let's go in and talk about this video first, and then I want to talk about who Bobby Burns was and how he got to where he is today, and maybe what I think that he should do. Because I want to say this, I've criticized Bobby a lot. Oh, lost my pen. Lost a fan. I criticized Bobby a lot about not being creative. I think he's highly, highly creative. I think he just doesn't know where to funnel his creativity. And I think what he doesn't realize is he already had it figured out. And I think sometimes when, you know, we don't say to ourselves, I'm happy and I'm grateful for what I already have, we aim for the stars and we try to do something different. And sometimes that's not for us, okay? Listen, I like my feet on the ground. I'm not supposed to be an astronaut, okay? I'm not trying to be an astronaut. I can watch space movies, but that doesn't make me an astronaut, see? Okay, so let's get right into this. So this newest video called YouTubers Can't Change is 4 minutes and 10 seconds or something like that. And basically what it is Bobby Burns versus his alter ego Nasty, which is his alter ego, but it is also all of us who have been criticizing Bobby about he's not doing his old content from 2017. But what I found out is that that's not the same content that he was doing in 2016 or 2015. Like there has been an evolution of Bobby, and I think an important evolution. Not just as he's grown up, but as a YouTuber. So then he goes in here and he's kept hostage by this Nasty. He's like, Nasty won't let him have any water. He's like, Nasty, just please let me have some water. And Nasty's like, no. And he looks like the girl from The Grudge. He has his hair down his face. I'm like looking for symbology all over this video. True story. There's snakes and all kinds of stuff. There's shovels digging graves. I'm like, I'm so confused about the symbology in here because it's so like, I'm so artsy that it should be so obvious to you that you figure it out. Okay, if a YouTube video is so deep that you can't figure it out, like, that's the wrong YouTube video to be making, okay? We don't come here for that, all right? We come here for entertainment. So anyway, and then listen, I'm a film studies minor, so I should have been able to see some of this stuff, and I'm like so confused. I mean, some of it was real obvious, like the snake and stuff like that. But then he goes in and he says, these are some direct quotes. He's talking to Nasty. Nasty finally like lets him have a bowl of cereal, right? He asks for water and Nasty gives him a bowl of cereal. So you thirsty and hungry? I'm confused. Okay. But he goes in there and he's like, I know. He's like, 5-0, Bobby 5.0, fucked everything up. Stick to what I know. I went out of my comfort zone. I should have gone out of my comfort zone. And this is kind of like saying to the people that have criticized him for this, I'm coming for you. You said don't go out of your comfort zone. Do what you're supposed to do. Stay in your lane, Bobby Burns. Do what you've always done. Whatever. Okay. So then he goes in there and he, says, I'm going to make the same videos from 2017 that everyone wants and I'll make everybody happy. Basically, I mean, okay, have you ever heard some more self-centered, selfish bullshit in your entire life? Like, the whole world on YouTube revolves around me. I guess I have to make videos that everybody wants me to make because I'm the most important person on YouTube. Bobby, I wouldn't have even known who you were if Shane Dawson hadn't shouted you out. Okay? But a lot of people did, and you had a lot of really genuine fans. So when you're talking about everybody, you're talking about your fans. That's what you're talking about, okay? Not all the new people that have found you since Shane Dawson, you put you in videos and stuff like that, and now you think you have to be this huge YouTuber. You're talking about everyone wants you to make these videos. Those are your fans that supported you for years, because you got pretty good views on your videos for a very long time. I was real impressed. So then he goes in there, and he has this like dream sequence where he meets Bobby 5.0, and Bobby's like sitting there 5.0 is talking to him about all this kind of stuff. In the middle of it, okay, this killed me, right? You want us to take you seriously, but you're kind of like tongue-in-cheek joking about the whole YouTube thing. This is where some of these like younger YouTubers, they don't realize what they're doing because they think it's funny and tongue-in-cheek, but it really comes off as in bad taste. So Bobby's making this video that's artistic, that he wants us to start taking him seriously artistically, like his music video, but right in the middle of it, he turns around, shows his sweatshirt and says, buy my merch, linked below. You're no Logan Paul, okay? So anyway, he goes in here and he says all this kind of stuff. I'm looking at my notes. Bobby 5.0, and he says something about vlogs aren't your forte. Yes, we know, and all this kind of stuff. He's really talking strictly to the critic at this point. And then he says, 5.0 says, Nasty has been feeding you a lot of criticism. Don't stay in your comfort zone. That's how art dies. And I thought that was really interesting, because when I went back to Bobby's channel, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but Bobby's channel over the last couple years was built on music, movie, and pop culture reviews, okay? I'm not really sure I would consider that art. I would consider it criticism. I would consider it reviews. I think that it has a very important place in pop culture and entertainment. I don't know that I would call it art. I don't. And, I think that I had a friend of mine back in the day, and he's dead now, but he did this painting that's right above my head. He gave it to me. And I can remember him talking about, he made sculptures out of rock. Love you, Randy. And he would pound on these rocks with different tools. And he got super famous locally, about this stuff. And I can remember saying to him one time, what do you think made you an artist? And he said, I don't like that word. I never considered myself an artist. He goes, I think that sounds arrogant. He goes, I'm just like this guy that, you know, like beats out my frustration, my anger, and my emotions on rocks. And I was like, that's really interesting, because then what you're saying is art is a cathartic process. But to say, I'm an artist, look at me, I'm an artist, oh my God, I'm so artsy fartsy, come to my gallery opening. It's a bunch of phony bullshit, okay? I cannot get behind it. Not when it's you and your friends filming some video in your apartment. I just can't, okay? So come down just a little bit. Just pull your, I know it's hard to humble yourself just a little bit, but pull yourself down. So then he says, 5.0 says to Bobby, make stuff you love. If you only stick to what you know, you never grow. I agree with that, okay? But we're talking about a YouTube channel. We're not talking about you just as an artist. We're talking about your medium, your platform. Your medium is YouTube. So if you really don't care about your fans and you really don't care about any money that you're making on YouTube, which is bullshit because you've complained about it in the last couple months, if that's the case about all these people you have to take care of, then you might want to consider this stuff because you're confusing your audience. And in my last video, I said, maybe start another channel where you put all your artistic endeavors over there and people can see you grow artistically, you know? I think that might be a fun idea. And then people that really like his art and his videos and that kind of stuff can go over there, because you're gonna have diehard fans that like both, and you're gonna like diehard fans that are watching this stuff and they're like, I don't understand this, okay? So then it goes in, and he says to Bobby, 5.0 says, he doesn't care about your mental health, he doesn't care about your life, he just cares about your channel and making money, okay? So what Bobby's saying is that internally, like, he fights with this back and forth. Like, do I do what makes me happy, or do I do what gets the views and makes money? Well, what's interesting to me is that when I go and I look at his channel, for 3.5 years, he was doing reviews and commentary, which then turned into commentary about YouTube, which to me, watching these videos, I have to tell you, I spent a lot of time watching some of Bobby Burns' old videos today. They're not long. You can go back and watch them. They're very well done. The point of view that he has about YouTube as this entity and this society is it's very interesting, and it's very on point. His movie reviews for his age at the time are almost surreal. Like, he sees things that I think most of us don't see, and he just has such an interesting point of view. Like, I was watching it and I was like, I really like this kid. Like, I really like what he has to say in his videos, right? And I think what happens is that any of us out there who, you know, has interest in movies, and I always have, you know, I've been interested in costume designing to, you know, being an actor, to directing, to filmmaking, and I know I'm not good at any of that kind of stuff, right? But I'm still waiting for my call, okay? But, you know, like, all of us that are interested in that stuff, one day, we'd love to make a video. We would love to do it. We would love to make, not a video, we'd love to make a movie, like a real movie, right? And so I think in the back of his head, that's what Bobby always wanted. I think his dream was to be a filmmaker. But it takes a lot to be a filmmaker and to be taken seriously. And I'm not saying that I don't think that he can do that. He's very young, and he has a long life ahead of him. I just think that he can't just, this is a platform that he could really use. He could have been taken seriously as a movie critic, as a film critic. Like, people take film criticism very, very seriously, and he was very good at it too. So I looked back at who he was, and he did a video like in 2017, right before all this stuff happened, called and it was basically about YouTube Rewind, and it got 600,000 plus views on it. And he basically, in there, it's just about the asset is the YouTube Rewind, which I think we all know. Like, those of us that are kind of on the fringe of YouTube know that, like, those are all the people that play the game of YouTube. And his attitude towards that is kind of like, I'm not playing this game. Like, I got what I have what I have to say, and I'm not backing down from it. Like, I stand behind what I say. And when you watch the video, it kind of bounces back and forth from this, like, vlog type material to him actually sitting down and showing stuff on the computer. But it's a very good video. It's very interesting. And I'm starting to wonder if when Shane decided, because I haven't talked a lot about this and I don't know, but when Shane decided this is the person that I want to confront as my hater and help out, if he didn't watch a lot of these videos and think to himself, not just he's a Shane lover, like I've said in the past, but this is a kid that really understands YouTube and really understands film criticism to some degree. Like, he really gets it. And that one got 600,000 views. Underneath that, below that, he does a video, and it's called, What the Hell Happened to My Film? And it's him talking about this, like here I am referencing it, this first film that he was going to put together with friends of his. That video got 44,000 views. So 44,000 views about yourself making a movie to YouTube Rewind, 600,000 views, should tell you that your fans really aren't that interested in what you have to say about your own life. And that's, I'm sorry, a lot of people aren't interested in what I have to say about my own life. I know that. That's why I get more views on this channel than I do in my vlog. But I love my vlog. And I love my Peterson's channel where I talk about my life. That's why I do those things, because I love to talk about that stuff and I love to interact with those people. So if you want to do those kinds of videos, that's fine, but you're not going to get the same amount of views. And then he did a video called Future of This Channel. It got 43,000 views. This is we're going down in time, back in time. Then he did one called YouTube Happiness Deception with PewDiePie's picture in it. Now, if you've seen Bobby Burns videos that have the red thumbnail, I'm going to try to recreate this for my thumbnail tonight. So I'm not real good with the thumbnails. Don't come for me. But he does like the red thing that puts a picture on it. He did PewDiePie's picture. That video got 432,000 views. So when he's doing all these red backgrounds and putting major YouTubers in the picture, playing the game, okay, that's all right. We all do it. He's getting a lot of views. But that was interesting because that's where he talks about, I think, the size and stuff like that. He is really observant. Like, you guys, this kid is very smart when it comes to being observant about YouTubers and film criticism and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, he totally missed his mark. Like, he doesn't understand. Like, okay, fine. Was he not happy for 3.5 years? These were the videos he made for 3.5 years. Only when Shane gave him a shot did he then change his videos. Why then? Why did he wait then? He doesn't seem like somebody to me that would have backed down from what he wanted to do. He seems like somebody to me that would have always made the videos that he wanted to make. Or was money and views and subscribers important to you then and it's not now? I don't know. Like, what changed there, Bobby, for you? And at what point did it change? Because when I'm watching these videos that were like The Fault in Our Stars review, you seem really happy. You seem really excited about doing these videos. You don't seem like that today. You seem like you're trying to be something that you're not and you're trying to prove something. And then he does a video like a year ago called The Real YouTube Rewind, and he got 1.4 million views. Again, another commentary video on YouTube Rewind. 2 years ago, he did movie criticism and music criticism. Most of these videos got anywhere from 16 to 30,000 to 100,000 of views on them. That's a lot of views on regular videos that he was doing about movie criticism. And if you go in, and not big, huge YouTubers, but just mainstream YouTubers that are doing movie reviews, most of them aren't getting these kinds of reviews. So that means that you had a huge chunk of people that really were listening to what you had to say about pop culture criticism. Like, that's you kind of having the finger on the pulse of pop culture criticism at your age. Like, that alone is really a cool, huge deal, right? To then say, like, oh, I have to change who I am. Well, were you not happy? I don't know. And then it goes all the way back to his very first video, which was Star Wars 7 cast released. And so when you see that video, I mean, he's obviously much younger. You can still kind of see the same Bobby Burns in there. But now he's turned into this kind of, I would say, arrogant, cocky, trying to be intellectual, artsy, inflated version of himself, and I don't get it. I really don't, because the Bobby that I watched in the videos before seemed very happy. He doesn't seem that happy now. Like, he seems lost. He seemed very happy then. Those videos were interesting to me. This shit, I'm not interested in at all. I don't get it, okay? And I really think only those die-hard Bobby Burns, this is what he doesn't understand. Only those fans that are die-hard Bobby Burns fans that are going to stick with him through and through are going to watch this stuff. Because to somebody that just kind of happens to come across this video, it's totally not interesting. Because there's a whole backstory to it that an absolute new viewer would have no clue what he's talking about with this whole nasty Bobby thing. And it's not interesting enough to go back and watch it. You kind of have to know who you are, you know, and you can kind of like switch it up if you want to. And like I said, I'm all for people chasing their dreams. If this is what he wants to turn his channel into, I think that's completely fine, you know, and I think that I hope that he accomplishes his dreams, and if his channel goes down to 100,000 subscribers and he gets regular views in these kind of videos, that he's happy with that. But I'm confused when I go back and I look at his old videos, and he seemed very happy, very relatable. Like, I was watching his videos and I was like, if I had watched these videos back then, I would have been like, I want to do movie reviews. Like, I want to do this kind of stuff. Like, I really liked him. Like, I was really interested in him. And his formula is very quick. His videos are anywhere from like 7 to 10 minutes long. He comes out, he has a lot to say. He's got this great personality in those videos, and he's really like demonstrating true understanding of film criticism. I mean, you have to go watch some of them to understand. If you have any kind of history of knowing anything about it, you watch him and you'll be like, wow, this kid like knows what he's talking about. So I guess I'm a little bit confused, you know? And then if you go in here, 7 months ago was when the Confronting My Hater video came out. And then after that, he did this video, and it's called Everyone Manipulates Their YouTube Audience. And this is where the true change begins. Because what he says in there is he just says over and over and over again, you know, like, you can manipulate, YouTubers manipulate their audience, but you can manipulate this chair. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. And his tune changed. And that's exactly what happened. That's what everybody noticed. Like, okay, wait a second. And it's not about him saying things about YouTubers in the past and now he's not willing to. The difference is it doesn't feel honest. It doesn't feel transparent. It feels like his opinions changed. And I think what happened wasn't that he was trying to appease Shane Dawson. I think that on some level he saw himself differently. I think he said to himself, I have arrived. Well, Bobby, what you didn't realize, okay, was that back when you were making videos, that seemed to me, and I could be wrong, that you really loved what you were doing. Back then when you were getting 100,000 views on talking about YouTubers, 200,000 views talking about YouTubers, long before Shane Dawson ever even knew who you were, when you were doing movie reviews that were getting 40 to 100,000 views on them. Back in those days, okay, when you were sitting behind a desk or vlogging in your house talking about stuff that you love, you had already arrived. And I think that what you're saying to the audience is, I don't really know where I am. I don't really know who I am. And I think you're afraid to go back and do those kinds of videos because then people will say, well, you're going back and doing that because you can't cut it doing this. Do what you love. You know, at this point, I think the kind of intellectual videos explaining to people what your stance is are pointless, but keep on doing them if you want to. I think you actually have tons and tons of creativity, and I think you really could work in the movie industry. I really, really do. Maybe even put out, you know, a feature film one day. I don't know. But I also think that you could work in the film industry and be taken very, very seriously as a critic doing these kinds of reviews and getting spots on television where people want to hear what you have to say, you know, and going to the Oscars and going to movies because people take Bobby Burns seriously as a pop culture review person, you know, as a critic. And there is room for that, you know, in our society. There are people that are taken very, very seriously looking at pop culture and making commentary about it. And if you don't know about that, maybe you should go do a little investigations of your own, because I think that that would be an avenue that you could go down. Do I think you're going to take some flack for backing away from what you were doing and saying, yeah, this wasn't working for me, I got to do something else? Sure. But everybody loves honesty on YouTube. Shane Dawson taught you that. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye.